Okay, so this trip has been completely brilliant. The people were extraordinarily friendly. It felt completely and utterly safe. And we moved from one kind of interesting adventure to another. Some had been scripted and some were because Joji listened to people in the group and found things for us to do. It would be a real struggle to find highlights, but yeah, it's just a real struggle to find highlights. It was almost every single day was a highlight. Or there was something on every single day that was enjoyable. Some of which was expected, some of which kind of came out of the blue. So one of them was in Bangalore. We just simply ran into a parade that was celebrating, making the case for the local language and the local colour and the local excitement. So we joined in that. Not just we joined in, we were invited to join into that. Immediately afterwards, we went to something that was scheduled, and that was an exhibition of women's art. I'm not a complete art freak, but it was absolutely beautiful and extraordinary. So that's just one day example.
The beginning of the...
Yeah, our first day of the tour, of the scheduled and unscheduled, and both of those would go down of highlights of my trip. The accommodation ranged from, I think I'm going to say maybe the best or one of the best hotels that I've ever been in, and that was the Carve Safari Park or Safari Lodge. And then everything was fine in a different kind of way. So most of it was just simply great. There was one hotel which would have been called ordinary 4-star, if that's a problem, just straightforward 4-star. Then the last night we had on a boat, which was less spacious, less everything than the other places. Perfect houseboat, perfectly fine. That was. Yeah,
and you got to meet people and throughout the journey.
One of the things I found was that we were never hassled. Nobody was hustling for anything. But if you took the time to smile at people, the response was pretty universally the smile back, the opportunity to start a conversation, learn a few words. People were just thrilled when I learned a few words. And I'm not a linguist, but just a few words made an interaction. Some of it led to further conversations, most of it was simply a pleasant exchange from one human being to another. It was just a fantastic holiday. I know Joji's listening, but he was a brilliant organiser, cared for different people at different times for what they wanted or what they needed, which wasn't much from most of the people in the group, but just every now and then somebody, I said, I'd like to buy some Ayurvedic creams or lotions. So a little bit of thinking, and then a bit later, after I'd forgotten about it, Joji came and said, if we go in here, we'll be able to buy some Ayurvedic stuff. That was just one thing. There were lots of examples like that.
And about the wildlife experience, what do you...
Well, I didn't get a tiger. Other than that, it was just fantastic. And some of it's a lottery as to what you see and what you don't see. What I did find was that I saw lots of birds. Wasn't particularly expecting that. The guides that we had were informed, or two of them were exemplary. Just one of them was a slightly serious natural scientist who knew everything about everything, and it was incredibly informative. And another one had clearly nailed the English skills and the English New Zealand type audience, and had us laughing. He got the humour, made fun of the whole journey, as well as us learning heaps of stuff. So two of them were exceptional. I just want to say something about the temples, the architecture and the religion. I kind of knew that there was Hindu, Muslim and Christian in various places. We had one experience early on where we kind of lucked upon a Muslim festival, and we got invited into it, male and female, and felt incredibly welcomed, engaged and connected to a bunch of people where they had no reason to do that whatsoever, but we were very, very included. So that was great. As we came north to south, into Kerala, first of all there was quite a lot of Hindu temples and Hindu festivals, which frankly I knew next to nothing about. And I really enjoyed learning, sort of, some of the complexities and richness of the Hindu culture, so that was fantastic. And then as we came south into Kerala, I knew there was Christian communities. I had no idea how many there were. I had no idea how amazing the architecture was. So we went from Syrian Orthodox to Catholic, and there must be other variations that I've forgotten. But again, the architecture was just really, really interesting, and that was another highlight for me.
But without visiting too many temples,
no.
One temple, one mosque, 2 churches.
Yeah. But I was maybe, I was definitely interested in that variation. And of course we did see the golden Tibetan.
Yeah, we also
temple,
went to the
which was fantastic. Oh, and while I'm on architecture, I forgot to say we went to the Mysore Palace. Oh, I don't know what to say about that, but that was utterly incredible. So we had that the sneak peek at various religions, and a bit more in-depth look at a temple or two and the Mysore Palace. Kurva, in Coorg, that's what I was trying to say. They took some real trouble to show us their culture, and I think it's a kind of tribal culture that some people have orientated perfectly well to the changing times, and that was really superb and quite unusual and off the beaten track. And then we had at the other extreme tribal community that were working as labourers, and just showed you how the other side of life is, which is a reminder of how fantastic our lives are. Just the contrast could not have been more incredible.
And finally, the cooking experience.
Well, so long as my wife never listens to this, I'm not a cook, and it wasn't particularly something that I was, let's say, looking forward to. But they were both 2 people, both highly skilled. Both of them had that knack of cooking and talking and involving us, telling us stories, getting us to do things. But the most important thing is that we ended up eating, and that was great.
Oh, I should also mention, what about the block printing? I should ask you about that one.
Oh.
Block printing experience in the beginning, forgot all about it.
That's quite all right. All I ever knew about block printing was that you end up sometimes with block printed clothes. I really didn't have a clue how they got there. And again, that was another thing where the woman who led it was completely au fait with English and talked us through the whole process, and the people who were guiding us gently took us through the process of block printing until I have ended up with something that I can safely take home and show to other people. A bit of a surprise, but I mean, Jodie's now prompting me, and I suspect that he could go on saying, and what about, and I could do the same thing, because there was so much going on, but also we got a bit of downtime, so it was that was really good.
It was a balance.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fantastic trip. Don't hesitate.
Thank you.